Mm, Hello, my name is Sergio Centeno. I shared a video yesterday uh, talking about what I think could happen, kind of making a prediction of what I hope happens in Nicaragua. But today I'm gonna share a video that I meant to. I don't have a script or anything, so I'm just sharing some of my thoughts. I had some things that I do want to talk about though. Like um, the things that we can learn from what's going on in Nicaragua currently. Today is December the 14th. Let me see. Yeah, 2018. So when I was a kid and when I was 11 years old in 1979, there was a conflict, revolution to overthrow President Somoza, which was an evil dictator. He bombing the city and everybody, the civilians. Yes, it was pretty bad. It was nasty. I was there, and I know, nobody told me. I saw it. I witnessed it, and I know they were bad. So the people backed up a group called the Sandinistas. Sandino was a patriot that fought against the occupation of the Americans and from 1927 to 1933 approximately. Might be wrong in those numbers exactly, but he was fighting against them. So those people in 1979, these people in 1979 were not part of his group. He was just somebody. Actually, the person, one of the old Somozas, because it was a dynasty. The first one, he was like uh, he spoke fluent English and all that. And so I guess they picked him to be the president. I don't remember whether it was on a coup or something that he actually did, but the thing is the United States backed him up. He actually got killed by another patriot named Rigoberto Lopez Perez. He killed him at a party. Then he got you know killed too. So he actually died before the president did. But um, he didn't change anything. He died, and then another, one of his sons took over. So that didn't do any good, but to piss everybody off, that uh, it made him aware that somebody made such a huge sacrifice to get this man out of the picture, and it was really easy for them to just place another one. So uh, so one person doesn't change anything. If you're gonna do the sacrifice of your life, that's not gonna help, because it's not just by getting killed that you're gonna change things. So you have to start, you know, convincing people, trying to make a change here, so that people understand that what you're trying to do, it's to improve either your country or the whole world. Actually, it's like I'm a big fan of Mark Bassett because I find that he speaks so much, truth. So, and I've learned a lot from him, even though he's younger than me. But uh, he's a good teacher. I admire him a lot. But um, like he says, he learns from other people. So I learn from him and other people. So um, another thing that I wanted to say is that uh, right after the Sandinistas which were a leftist group backed up by, Cuba and all that. Nobody, they always negated this. They was said, nah, we're not communism, it was bullshit. They were communists. So, uh, but everybody was just trying to get that man out of the power, that Somoza. So they backed him up, and they started, finding out what these people were saying, that whatever the beliefs they had. So some, a lot of them just fought and then got out. Some of them wanted to get something, so they stayed. And that's what happened. That we got rid of one and got replaced by a bunch of people who wanted to get rich. So they did get rich, and then we had a bunch of some little samosas running around, and then there was this guy who became the one president, which was Ortega at some point, and he liked power so much. They had a conflict, because the contras which were mainly compound out of the Somoza's previous military. They were trying to go back, and the Sandinistas tried to repel them as hard as they could. So they got help from Russia, and the Contras got help from the United States. So they were killing each other for a few years, and the Sandinistas were drafting people who were not, everybody got discouraged really quick. They got disillusion out of that revolution, because we saw what happened. Nothing. There was no freedom really. We wanted freedom. Nah, they started saying, no, freedom is not, not being free, or some shit like that. But whatever. So. So these people become addicted to power. He had to surrender power at some point, because the country was just destroyed. And right now, what's going on is the country, they had a problem with Social Security, because they bankrupted it, because they were using the money for some of their projects, and they started they pushed for a law, or they created a law that started charging more for Social Security benefits, or so even the elders were gonna be getting less money, and it was a mess, so the people decided to go out and protest, because they in Nicaragua, they have a little culture of protesting, going outside, and the Sandinistas promoted and impulsed that, a lot. So the people have that little culture going out and protesting. Nothing happened when it was against everybody else. Or there were like 3 presidents before Ortega came back to power. He came back to power in 2007. He was out for since 1990 or 1890. I think he went back to power. They took over in 1979. He became president, I think, in 1984, and then he left power in 1990, and then he came back in 2007. So he's been in power since then. Some people say that he cheated the elections and all that. So the thing is, he's there. He doesn't want to get out. He's crazy. He's killing people left and right. He's there. Everybody protesting. They started. They had snipers. Students protested. They got killed. Little kids. They even burned a house with the people inside. 2 babies died there. One baby, one in a like a 4-year-old. This is really hideous, gruesome crimes that they've committed. So they stolen property from private sector. They threaten and even um, vandalize what churches. So it's all a mess. It's all crazy. So this guy doesn't want to get out, but I think there's gonna be a miracle. Because the thing with governments and the world. They have to pretend they're good. We all know that they're lying. But they have to pretend. They have to give their face that they're good. So they may end up doing something good at some point. They should have done it a long time ago in Nicaragua because it's out of hand. Everybody knows it too. Everybody who's watching what's going on there, they know that this man is nuts. So, um, the thing about freedom, which the Nicaraguan people have been hungry for such a long time, is that we don't know what that is. And everybody thinks that freedom is watching TV, you're watching some people playing soccer or something. No, that's not freedom. That's you being lazy. So you have to be in a continuous search for freedom. So if you want to learn what it is, so like I mentioned, people the concepts of and the beliefs and the theories, the philosophies of anarchy, and they tell me, oh no, that's you know chimera. It's an animal made out of two things, and they call it chimera, like a centaurus or something like that. It's something that doesn't exist, right? So they can't even visualize it because they want this system, of control to be in place because they're either babies or they're part of it, a problem. So they don't want anybody to believe. That's why they have the educational system telling people the worldview. But we have to change that worldview because if not, the whole world could end up being like Nicaragua. The first thing the Sandinistas did when they took they overthrew Somoza was take all the weapons out of the people. So everybody was armed then. But they just started collecting weapons. And it's like, why are you taking because we used them good. We fought these people and got them out. But no, they didn't want the same shit to happen to them. So that's why I like the way the United States is with the Second Amendment, because the people are armed, and we should not only be armed. We should be, collecting ammunition, because you don't know what crazy person is gonna be in powers and do all the crazy things this president is doing in Nicaragua in small scale, right? It's small scale if you look at the whole world, but really for them it's a hell right now. What's going on? Well, how can they get out of this? They don't have any weapons. They say that they're doing a civic revolution, and what else can they say? They don't have any weapons. They put a bullet, a pistol to their head, and all they can do is cry. Because, and these are brave people. They got out. They took out the Somoza's dictatorship, but this guy has been using force. He's been using the police. The military has been like pretending they're not in it. And who knows, because there's a lot of people running around wearing civilian clothing, but nobody knows what they are. They're wearing, they cover their face and everything, so who knows who's who there. So the Nicaraguan army says they're not being part of the problem, but if you're not helping the people, if you're seeing everybody's being killed on the streets and you don't do shit, you're a big part of the problem, you know. So I hope they get the reward for how they behave now, you know. So I wish they they do away with all this cops and army. What do we need them for? You know, this is so it's for extortion, and you know they don't do anything. The country's too small anyway. There are too many things to do besides just having a bunch of lazy people laying around, you know, uh, and taking the tax money. So that's my main point that I wanted to make, is that if we don't start working towards freedom, we're never gonna realize, or we're never gonna learn what freedom is. Because uh, so I think the most important thing is to start considering anarchy, you know, to that. Okay, you're not gonna see it immediately because it takes education. Everybody's misbehaving, then the government's always gonna have the excuse that they need to be there because everybody's just misbehaving. So we need daddy, right? So um, so everybody needs to be learning and then working towards it. It's like, okay, we built a plane, but the first plane wasn't that good. It flew, but it wasn't good. Now we have jets and you know all kinds of stuff. So it's a progressive kind of thing, but we have to start working towards it and not, you know, letting people. And education is a big part of the solution, and right now is a big part of the problem, because if we only think in terms of confusing math, you know, and shit, then nobody who cares, you know. So on things that don't matter really. It's like the news. Dog got run over. You know, who gives a, you know, things that are not important. That's what they're teaching our children. So, and we have to start working towards that. You know, so it starts first in the consciousness of everybody in the aggregate, like Mark Passio says. So it's true. That's what we have to start doing. But you know, and it saddens me that my country has my country of origin has been suffering this much, and they have been wasting time really, because they should have never stopped trying to, you know, learning and finding out how can we get free really, you know, because if we really wanted freedom, we're nowhere close, and that's the proof of it, you know, right now. And what's gonna happen next? Ortega gets kicked out, hopefully gets killed, you know, I pray. And but who's next? That's the problem. This is it's just a never-ending story. If we never wake up to the truth that we don't need these people, what do we need them for? Like Costa Rica has no army. They haven't had an army for 70 years. So what do we need them for? You know, you have to ask, you know, ask yourself those questions, because it's just insane. You know, we're never gonna stop being bullied by these people. So that's all I wanted to say, and this one I want to share now. And this the one that I did yesterday was debating whether I should or not, because you know, um, I don't want anybody to come and knock on my door and say, "Oh, you know that that was gonna happen." But you know, I'll probably remove it too, because I don't know. It's just a wild guess. Hopefully they do it, because you know, hopefully they go in and bait. But they take him out of power. That would make Trump look like a hero, you know, a true life hero, you know. And but it's just, like I said, they have to look good, even though they're not any better sometimes. But yeah, there are levels of goodness and badness, and countries and stuff. We don't have it that bad, believe me. Yeah, it's pretty nasty in Nicaragua right now, and it was so peaceful for some time, because everybody was just working and everything. And then as soon as he felt threatened, he went nuts and started, um, telling his people to, take care of things. So they did, and now he's in deep shit. So I um I hope you comment and tell me, what you think about it. And then, it's like I said, it's not my idea, but it's something that we all have to start learning, because if not, it's just not going anywhere. This world, it's like, um, if we don't change things ourselves and start, communicating this in the aggregate, then we're never gonna see it. Let's stop watching sports. It's a waste of time. I did it myself, I like boxing, but it's a waste of time. I feel like an idiot now, because I wasted time watching two people knock each other out. So, all right then. You have a good night. God bless you.